Hi, it's Erica Nicole, and I am back for day 3 of the affirmation videos. And today's affirmation is impermanence. And the card says, life is always changing, and I drift easily through those changes, good and bad. As I drift through hard times, I can take comfort in knowing that I will leave them behind. As I drift away from good times, I can take comfort in knowing that more will come my way. I love that this card came out today because I think this is a really important reminder for a lot of us coming out of 2020, because for the vast majority of us, 2020 was not the most pleasant experience for us. It wasn't, the best time of our lives. A lot of us experienced negative circumstances and situations and just personal issues in 2020 that we're all ready to leave behind. And the thing about impermanence is sometimes when you're going through a negative period, you're so deep in it that you forget that life is always changing and that bad or troubling times don't last always. Sometimes you forget it because you're just so deep in whatever your situation is. We forget that. But like I said, I love this reminder. And the truth is, even though sometimes we forget, deep down, we know that really is the way of life, because that's why so many of us were ready to see the end of 2020 and roll over into 2021, because we associate the ending of that year with the ending of all the negativity that we'd experienced in 2020. It's because we knew that at some point 2020 had to end, and because we all have that hope going into the new year that things would be better. And that's because we truly do know that that is the way of life. Life is a flow. It's always changing. The situations that you experience are not permanent realities for you, especially if you don't accept it as your permanent reality. Now, sometimes if you accept that your life ain't gonna get any better and that's what you speak, that might be what you experience, because there's power in what you say. You manifest things, you affirm things for yourself all the time, intentionally or unintentionally, by what you say. So it really is helpful to remember the fact that there is impermanence in the world, in our lives, that there is this flow of good and bad times. And it sucks. Like, the bad times suck. None of us willingly are running to sign up for the bad times, but it is a part of life. And honestly, we all know that it's those bad times that give us that growth that we need sometimes, because we are supposed to evolve. And so you do have to have some challenges to work through, to strengthen you up, to make you grow, and for you to learn lessons. But we know that's not where we plan on staying. We know that it's like a revolving door, and eventually things are going to turn back to that good point in our lives. So I would encourage you to really let that take root, to really accept that just because things aren't going the way you wanted them to right now, just because you may not be at a place in your life that you want it to be right now, that's not your permanent reality. You don't have to accept that that's all there is for you. Know that that bad period of time has an end date. And as soon as that ends, you're walking back into a good period of your life. And I know personally, sometimes when I'm going through something, it's easy for me to get stuck in that. And then I have to remind myself, like I'll think about how I went through a negative period before in my life, and I felt like I was going to be there forever. It's like I knew that things would get better eventually, but I didn't know how they were going to get better. And of course, I didn't know when. But now I look back and I'm like, all of that is behind me. Whatever that struggle was at that time, that struggle is gone. And I entered a period of not having those struggles anymore. And so, yes, although right now I may be facing some different struggles, just like I was delivered from those previous struggles, I know that eventually I'm going to be delivered from these struggles as well. And I'm going to enter back into a good point in my life. And so as long as we accept that and we kind of yield to that flow, Again, I'm not telling you that you don't have to fight for things in your life. I'm not telling you you don't have to work for things and that you don't have to put forth effort. But I'm saying yield to the understanding that there is going to be a flow of good and bad in your life sometimes. And as long as you know that, and as long as you speak with those intentions that where I am right now, if it's not pleasant, if it's not what I want, it's not where I'm staying. If you speak that, if you affirm that for yourself, you will come back around to those good times. And don't write 2021 off. I know that it didn't start off the way some of us hoped yet, but I mean, this still is a brand new year. And I really had gotten away from limiting my start over periods to calendar years. Like, you know, in October when people were saying, you know, they're writing 2020 off, I wasn't. I was still like, no, there's still time for 2020 to turn around for me. And that's just, I choose to be an optimist. I am a dreamer. And so I don't even limit myself to calendar year. Like, I'm always ready. I'm like, God, universe, anytime you're ready to turn it around, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready. And so really just take on that mindset. And you'll see, the more you speak that, the more you think that, you'll start to see things slowly start to shift around in your life. And you'll see yourself exiting that bad period and walking back into a good period. So again, I really hope that this can just encourage you, be those reminders, because sometimes we do get caught up in life and we forget things. Like, we inherently know it, but we forget it because we're so caught up. So I love these reminders. I hope it can help someone, even just a little bit. And I will see you back tomorrow for day 4. Good night.